Good Monday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here in the North Georgia First Alert Weather Center with your weather update here on your April 21st, 2025. Now, before we get going, we always like to say thank you and welcome aboard to any new followers here on this page. And if you're not yet officially a follower, what I need you to please do is go down to the link down in the comment section below. It's going to take you to the main page right here. Make sure you hit that like in that upper right-hand corner, and that way you're officially a follower on this page. Now, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, you know what you got to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. Well, not looking too bad here for your Monday afternoon. We got some sunshine, some clouds around, but we do have a chance of rain back in the forecast. In some areas across northwest Georgia, I may need to watch for maybe an isolated severe thunderstorm. We'll show you the latest from the Storm Prediction Center on that here in just a second. But first, let's take a live look at Lake Lanier. Not looking too bad for this afternoon. Got a lot of sunshine, a few clouds around, just a gentle breeze here across our area, across North Georgia, looking pretty good indeed. Looking over toward Dahlonega, seeing some partly sunny skies to mostly sunny skies. Very beautiful spring day with temperatures still running a little bit above normal for this time of year. All right, let's look at the radar right now. We are clear across North Georgia. Probably not going to stay that way as we go in toward tonight, say after 6 o'clock, and then going overnight. May get some showers and thunderstorms that in this zone up in here might sneak into some severe weather. I'm not really expecting any at this point, but right now the Storm Prediction Center does have that marginal risk for this zone. So here's where the storms are back off toward our west right now. You can kind of see here, updating here across portions of northwestern portions of Alabama. A few thunderstorms in here. So as this continues to move off toward the east, obviously with the daytime heating, we'll have to watch portions of Alabama, and we'll see if anything kind of sneaks up in here to North Georgia or not. So here you got the clouds right now. Again, we got some sunshine. We'll see the clouds increasing once again going in toward tonight. And we'll watch that rain threat, which is going to go up significantly. Probably looking at a decent chance of rain here, especially for Tuesday and Wednesday. Then it'll kind of taper off as we go toward the weekend. So as you look at what the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, again, you see that marginal risk kind of coming up there toward the extreme northwest Georgia. Big chunk of northern Alabama for this afternoon. Again, with that daytime heating, some of these storms may flare up severe as we go through the afternoon hours. So let's go ahead and take a look at the latest regional model here. We're looking at the high resolution model here. So you see kind of tracking up here toward the north and east. Watch that little time stamp up there to kind of get an idea of how things are going to fall here. So let's go to the next couple of days here. We're going to continue to see these little waves of precipitation, again, kind of coming in toward tonight, and then we'll continue that threat of rain going into tomorrow. But a lot of areas here across North Georgia look like they're going to get the bulk of the rain here over the next day or so. So let's go ahead and talk about that. We'll go ahead and break that down a little bit, and we'll also take a look at the European model that will take us into this upcoming weekend. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what we're expecting as far as rain totals are concerned here for the next 24 hours here. I'm going to switch this over to the NAM model here. So we're going to talk about the precipitation here over the duration. So this is going to take you out here for the next few days. So we're going to take us all the way out to the next 4 days, and we'll zoom in here. So you can see we got some decent rainfall here showing up here over the next several days across North Georgia. So I'll kind of highlight some of these areas. That's 2 inches there, a little over 2 1/3 there, upwards 1.5 inches there. So we got a pretty decent coverage zone here for some decent rains here over the next 3 days across the North Georgia area for this afternoon. Now, as far as what's going to happen, well, really not this afternoon, for the next couple days, I should say that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to see here as far as the rest of the forecast period here. So we're going to go and switch over to the European model, and we're going to talk about what we're going to see there over the next few days going into the weekend. So as we go, switch back over to our simulated radar here. And again, we're going to kind of watch what happens here as we back this up here going over the next few days. So Tuesday not looking too bad. Like obviously got the high rain threat, roughly about 70% for your Tuesday. And then going into Wednesday, we'll get some more afternoon storms in there. So still looking at Wednesday afternoon, seeing a little gap there. We get some more storms in there. It looks like things begin to tail off, though, as we head toward the weekend. So we got a chance of rain every day through this week. And then as we go in toward later of the week, going into Friday, looks like things begin to dry on out here. And then Saturday, Friday night, got some storms there. And then Saturday, I think we're looking better. Saturday and Sunday definitely looking drier here across the region. Not nearly as wet as what we're going to see earlier in the week. So once we get into this weekend, it looks like the second half of the weekend especially, I think we're looking at some pretty decent weather. That's the end of the run there going into Sunday morning. I think we're going to be looking pretty decent here. So it looks like some wet weather, a little unsettled weather for the next few days, and then kind of a drying trend as we go toward the weekend. At least that's the way the current models are looking. So let's go ahead and track our forecast maps here. Again, kind of watch that timestamp there as we kind of watch this up toward the top as we kind of highlight the frontal systems here coming on through. So you got that frontal boundary, which is going to kind of get stuck. It's going to act as a trigger mechanism here for showers and storms. Just going to kind of wash itself out basically just kind of fall apart. But whatever's left there, that moisture line over the little outflow boundaries, it'll kind of meander there. So it looks like we got a spike in the rainfall going into toward Thursday. You notice it goes up to heavy green there going into toward Thursday right there. So it's Thursday. And then Friday kind of tapers back off again. And then going into this weekend, Saturday, still got the rain chance going into Saturday here. And then going into Sunday, the front moves on through. So looks like things clear out Sunday and Monday. I think we're looking pretty decent. You got high pressure building in there. Obviously, you got a little bit of a northeasterly wedge there. As temperature should cool back down into the 70s as we go into early next week. So let's go ahead and wrap this all up and go ahead and take a look at the forecast here going into this upcoming week. So here we go for tomorrow. A high rain chance. You'll need the umbrellas around, help get some of the pollen out of the air. Showers and thunderstorms 79 and 64 in the Gainesville area here for tomorrow morning. Going throughout the day. Here we go for your morning lows. Generally going to be in the low 60s, maybe a few upper 50s up in the mountains, but very warm. Showers will be increasing from west to east, so it'll be coming in here earlier, going into the evening hours into the night, and then increasing as we go through the overnight hours. So areas off to the east, you're not going to get anything until later, but off to the west, it'll be a little bit sooner. And then as far as your daytime highs, backing them off a few degrees because of the cloud cover and the rain cover, generally mostly into the 70s, a few low 80s down toward the east. Again, if you're over toward Hartwell and Everton, your rain chances are much, much lower, by about 30% there. But over a big chunk of North Georgia where I showed you that precipitation is, that's going to be running 60, 70, 80% here, especially the further north you go. So this zone in here looks like the target zone for a lot of the rain we're going to see over the next couple of days. As far as our regional forecast concerned, Nashville at 80, 81 in Memphis, 83 in Jackson. Looking at 85 in Savannah, again, a little drier along the eastern seaboard, 88 in Columbia, and a few storms down here toward Mobile and New Orleans as well in the lower 80s. Next 7 days looking like this. Again, we're going to keep that high rain chance for Tuesday, Wednesday still 60%, Thursday up 60%. Although looking at the new model data coming in, we might need to bump that rain chance up a little bit. And then it tapers off. Again, we kind of clear the front coming in here on Saturday. And then Sunday, right now, I got 20% there. That may not even be necessary, but we'll see that temperatures drop off. Once we get back in the upper 50s there on Monday, that cooler wedge comes in. If that wedge really establishes itself, we may drop those temperatures just a couple of more degrees there on Monday. But when it comes to cold air wedges, at 7 days out, I really don't go too crazy about that, not until we get a little bit closer. But again, looking pretty good. Again, we got to watch out for the marginal risk up there across northwest Georgia, but otherwise, I don't think it's going to be too big a deal. We'll get some needed rainfall. It's been a bit on the dry side around here, so it could definitely help with some of the dry conditions, help with the pollen as well as we go into the future. Again, really excited. My severe weather update is complete. It looks so nice. We got a couple more little bells and whistles we're kind of adding to our coverage area. So when we get into severe weather mode here, especially with the upcoming hurricane season, if we have any severe weather days here across North Georgia, we should have some good coverage here for you guys. Although we still got to wait until this page is 60 days old to do anything live. I requested Facebook to allow us to do it early because they took down our old page, but they haven't told me anything, and I'm not holding my breath that they're going to do that. So anyway, we're continuing to grow the channel. Again, I need y'all's help. We're starting back from scratch. We had almost 35,000 followers, and now we're coming up about 3,500. So we got maybe 10% of what we had before. So if you guys can help us out, please share this with your family and friends as we strive to build the premier weather channel here all across North Georgia. Share it with your family and friends, and invite anybody to come here, and please follow the page. And of course, you guys can, if you're watching on YouTube, always hit that subscribe button over there. All right, that's y'all's update for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.